20 years ago, I had a counselor tell me, you don't need God. You've already made yourself judge and jury. It was true, but I had no idea how to be free. Two days before my 16th birthday, my brother, who lived right across the yard from my mom and dad's, where I grew up, came over to give me my 16th birthday present. It seemed really odd for him to do that because he lived so close, and I had no idea that it would be the last time I talked to him. We were in Cedar Point. I was with my sister and my nephews and nieces, and I just wanted to stay a little bit longer. The kids wanted to stay a little bit longer to ride the rides. So we begged my sister to let us stay, and she said, let me call home first. She called home, but after that phone call, my sister was really quiet. When we got home, then we found out that Denny had passed away. And I remember hearing my sister screaming, and then I heard her say that he was gone. You know, I was awake. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and his kids were sleeping in the back of the station wagon. I remember thinking at his funeral, oh my God, he was my brother. And I barely knew him. There was a lot behind that. It wasn't the first time that I'd had a death in the family. When I was just a little kid, my grandpa passed away. One of my earliest memories is standing at his funeral. And then in elementary school, my grandma died, and 2 days later, her husband died. And then when I was in junior high, my grandma Reynolds passed away. So I kind of grew up going to the funeral home. Death was a part of what shaped how I thought about life. 2 years into my college education, my dad was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. And he looked perfectly healthy to the rest of us, but within a little while, he started showing the signs of the disease. You know, I felt like I had a red flag with Dad. My brother died really fast, so I kind of put my life on hold for a year of college, stayed home, and became a nurse for my dad. Went back to school. A couple months later, there was a knock at the door. And Dad was gone. And I remember thinking, I wonder who'll be next. I heard a song recently, and the lyrics were, so I took all these things and I made a gold thread, and I wove them all together, and I made a sweater that I could wrap up in during cold days. I think that's probably the most eloquent way I could speak of depression in my life. It was something that I wove together to cuddle up in when life was overwhelming. Even the smallest mistake, like being embarrassed in school, not being athletic, not feeling like I fit in, not feeling like I measured up. All those feelings just became part of this thing that I wrapped myself in, and I felt ashamed. I felt different, and I got used to not liking the person that was in the mirror. And on the outside, I mean, I was pretty happy-go-lucky and friendly kid, and I liked people, but I didn't like myself when I started dating my wife. And I realized that she was being affected by my emotional cloud. It didn't matter when it was just me hurting. But when it would hurt someone else because they would see me hurting, then it changed the whole game for me. Looking back, I didn't realize how much depression affected the way I looked at God. I saw him as sovereign, master of the universe, that he cared for me, that he sent his son to pay the debt for my sin, but I just saw myself as broken. That was inescapable for me. And I know that God was all the while just kind of waiting for me to stop running, to stop trying to prove to Him that I was sorry, or that I was inescapably caught in this miracle called grace, and I just didn't know how to respond to it. Being a follower doesn't make everything easy or make everything go away. In fact, sometimes it's harder because you think, should I be feeling this way? Should I be discouraged when I've got so much grace in my life and people who are willing to go through this with me? I mean, should I be discouraged when I have hope, real hope? I wish I could say that I'm perfect, that I'm fixed, but that's not true. I'm still broken. The thing that has changed for me is that when I look at my story now, I don't have to look at my story through the eyes of shame and depression, but instead I can look at my story through the eyes of grace, and I can know that my God is with me. I can remember in a journal not too long ago, I actually said, thank you for this challenge called depression.